At the time when Narendra Modi was taking his oath as a Prime Minister in New Delhi, something terrible was happening in Riyasi district of Jammu division. Terrorists had attacked a bus of Hindu pilgrims en route to Mata Vaishno Devi temple. The attack had left more than 40 civilians injured and 10 lost their life. But this was not it. Within next 100 hours, terrorists attacked 3 more places: a village in Kathua district, a checkpost of Rashtriya Rifles in Bhadarwara Pathankot Road, and a temporary operating army base in Doda district were the targets. More than 15 security personnel were injured in these attacks. So who is behind these attacks? According to the news reports, all these attacks were carried by shadow groups associated with Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. These groups are reportedly backed by Pakistani intelligence agency ISI. Something was new in these attacks. Something has changed. These attacks have been different from the past attacks. Let me tell you how. If we see the map on the screen, over the years, terrorists has started attacking the Jammu region along with the Kashmir region. Earlier, the Jammu region used to be peaceful. The orange strip on the map is Pir Panjal range. Earlier, most of the attacks happened in the northern part of this mountain range. But slowly, the terrorists are creeping in the southward direction. And in the southward direction of Pir Panjal lies the Jammu division of Jammu and Kashmir. According to data by the Indian government, in the last 4 years, terrorists have started recruiting more members from these areas. If we compare the data from 2015 to 2019 and from 2019 to 2023, there has been 71% increase in arrest by the Indian Armed Forces in these areas. Also, if we look at the number of IEDs and grenade attacks, there were 4 grenades and 7 IED attacks from 2015 to 2019. And the number increased from 4 to 8 and 7 to 13 between 2019 to 2023. So the next question is, what's the strategy behind this shift in strategy? The first point lies in the terrain and closeness to the border. If we see the terrain of Pir Panjal range, then these mountains have very dense forest, and it has an uphill terrain which provide better edge to the terrorist for guerrilla warfare, because these terrorists are at better height advantage. This forest has deep caves and services which provides a hideout to these terrorists. So how are these caves used? The local support network dumps food, medicine, arms and ammunition before the terrorists arrive. After attacking security personnel, they return to these caves without being detected. And if they are not caught in few days by the army, which is rare, then they swiftly return back to Pakistan. This was just the first point. There is more to the story. One another country is also involved, China. Yes, China is also involved. And before proceeding further, it would be great if you can like and subscribe. Let's get back to the story. So China is also involved. Maybe not directly, but surely they have an indirect influence. You might think, after all, how these terrorists are able to infiltrate the international border? The answer to that is tunnels. According to a report by Eurasian Times, China has dug a tunnel somewhere in the Lipa Valley. This valley joins the Kashmir border with the Karakoram highway. And these tunnels are enabling Pakistani terrorist network to transport men and material for conducting terrorist operations. And this Chinese support is not only limited to tunnel digging, but also to arms supply. As we know, Pakistan is a bankrupt nation, so it cannot sustain financing these terrorist activities alone. According to reports, China supplies drone, grenades and other weapons to Pakistani army. And these weapons have been used by terrorist groups in the recent attacks. According to intelligence agencies, the terrorists are equipped with Chinese weapons, bodysuit cameras and communication devices. But what does China will gain from doing these things? What is the ulterior motive of China? To know that, let me take you back to 2020. In June 2020, clashes happened between Indian and Chinese troops at the line of control in Galwan, in the eastern part of Ladakh. And to counter the Chinese troops, India mirror deployed its armed forces. That is, for each Chinese soldier, India deployed one of its own soldier to counter China. Earlier, the line of actual control was guarded by 15,000 troops. But now, it is guarded by more than 60,000 troops. 60,000 troops on the Indian side and 60,000 troops on the Chinese side. And for this deployment, Indian Army had to move a unit of Rashtriya Rifles along with other division from Jammu and Kashmir. Now, China is pressuring India. According to the Chinese, if there is terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, then Indian Army would have to move its troop and resources back to Jammu and Kashmir. And this will pressure India to negotiate with China. And China would have an upper hand in these negotiations. That's why Chinese might be fueling the Pakistani so that they could have edge in Ladakh. So this could be the motive behind Chinese support. So what's the response of Indian Army? Indian Army is continuously getting success in hunting down these terrorists. Army is also planning to increase the number of troops in Jammu. Also, there has been report of terrorist attack on Chinese convoys and Pakistani troops working on China-Pakistan economic corridor. Obviously, the Indian government has nothing to do with these attacks. I just told you about this because it has nothing to do with India. And I find that interesting. So this is the end of this video. This is Raj signing off. Please like and subscribe.